Right where you are, actually.
Finals. Australia's top schoolboy rowers are being robbed of international fame by infighting between the sports administrators. While Brisbane hosted the national titles at the weekend, the top young rowers from Sydney and Melbourne weren't there. As Harry Williams explains, that's basically rubbed them out of world competition.
The Australian rowing titles, with crews from all over Australia, were held near Brisbane over 5 days last week. One of the glamour events was the Australian schoolboys Coxed Eights national title, won this year after a mighty effort by Brisbane Boys College.
And they're starting to move away in the concluding stages. A very polished crew is Brisbane Boys College crew.
But the victory's been bittersweet for the Australian champions. Sydney and Melbourne couldn't compete. Melbourne's head of the river, won by Geelong College, clashed with the national titles. And Sydney too. There's no argument Sydney crews would have been favourite for the national titles.
The fact that King's College did defeat Brisbane Boys College quite convincingly 3 weeks ago, I would say probably that Kings would have won the Australian Championships yesterday.
But why were the Sydney and Melbourne races held at the same time as the Nationals? The Australian Rowing Council blames the Sydney and Melbourne schools.
The Head of the Rivers were held at the whims of the headmasters down in Victoria and New South Wales.
All sides agree schoolboy rowing is being damaged. If a new national row-off can be organised, then rowing officials are confident an Australian schoolboy 8 could win gold at the Henley Royal Regatta in England in 2 months' time.
With a narrow 3-second victory over Southport and Gregory Terrace. The win also clinched overall honours for BBC for an undefeated season. Crim and Trent Jenkins collapsed after the race, but later recovered enough to join in the boisterous celebrations. Bill McDonald, 7 Nightly News.
Thanks. Look for the next 3 days, a shower or storm Monday, Tuesday fine, but not quite as warm, and Wednesday fine again. And that's our weather. Kim.
Thanks, Dean. Months of hard work was channelled into 6 gruelling minutes this afternoon when local GPS schools locked doors in the annual Head of the River Regatta at Wivenhoe Dam. Tension was high as the 8s tussled for the lead in the run to the line, but Brisbane Boys College managed to hang on. Second and third was no consolation for the Southport School and Gregory Terrace. BBC's Green Machine also taking the second 8 title and topping the day's points tally. And for some, the exhaustion was as emotional as it was physical. BBC bowman Trent Jensen recovered enough to rejoin the celebrations later. And that's our